What's going on, ParaTruthers? I have to say this before I do the introduction. I get so excited every time I hear that.
Hey, it's still doing its job then.
Yeah. Welcome to ParaTruth Reborn. My name is Justin.
And I'm Erik.
Now, most people think dolls sit still on a shelf. But what if some of them are watching, waiting, and listening? Tonight, we're talking with Patti Negri about Poppet Magick Haunted Dolls and why some objects feel alive. And she goes over that in her book, Dollcraft. Patti is a psychic medium, a quote-unquote good witch, author, and television personality known for her recurring role on Ghost Adventures and appearances across the paranormal and entertainment world. She's the author of Old World Magic for the Modern World and Dollcraft, and hosts the podcast The Witching Hour.
Now, I know you guys are all excited to hear from Patti, but she will actually be joining us in just a little bit. She's running a little behind. But first, we want to cover some knowledge, at least some basic knowledge that we have about poppets. Now, the biggest question I think a lot of people tend to have when we're talking to them is, what is a poppet exactly, right? I know I have. Like, poppet is one of those words that I don't typically think of when I think of dolls. But a poppet is basically a small human-shaped figure used in folk magic, witchcraft, and spell work to represent a person, a situation, or an intention. It is not, and I got to be clear, it is not the same thing as the Hollywood quote-unquote voodoo doll, as some may think. Instead, a poppet serves as a stand-in, basically, a symbolic link between the physical figure and the person or intention it's connected to.
And we've gone over voodoo and voodoo dolls. So if you want to know more about that, go to that episode. And both Erik and I own a voodoo doll from going to New Orleans. So we have kind of ventured down that rabbit hole time and time again, actually. Now, what are poppets made of? That's the interesting thing. Traditionally, the materials correspond to the poppet or the purpose of the spell. You've got fabric, cotton, felt, linen, often hand stitched with intent. Wax, great for shaping and holding energy, but also symbolic of transformation. Herbs stuffed in cloth, lavender, rosemary, mugwort, rose petals. The list goes on and on there. For healing, protection, intuition, or love. You can have clay or corn husks, often used in folk traditions for grounding and natural energy. And biodegradable poppets used for spells that are meant to return to the earth or release. With that being said, it's like doing a poppet and then you bury it for whatever purpose that it is intended for. Now, you and I have both kind of researched a lot of things. Were you familiar with a poppet before we scheduled Patti on?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if anyone's watched Supernatural, you learn a thing or two, right?
I love that our traditional way to go is look at Supernatural. You'll see it all.
That's how it started for us, So it's kind of like, in a way, yeah. Uh, yeah, of course, I knew what a puppet was for quite a while now. But nonetheless, it's always nice to kind of go over some of the finer details, especially in our studies, because there's always things I think that we can learn about even some intricate knowledge that we have. Obviously, being a Christian, I study the Bible regularly, but I'm still learning a lot of things that I've already read through before multiple times. And the same thing happens in, really any faith, any craft and practice, or anything you're really studying. And so it's the same with the poppets. Going through the studies, reading some of this stuff, I was like, oh, I don't recall that being associated with poppet making. But, nonetheless, it is. And it is in a way, many ways, very similar to a voodoo doll. Earlier I said a Hollywood voodoo doll. There's a very big difference between Hollywood voodoo doll and a real voodoo doll, right? Because a Hollywood voodoo doll is always like poke, poke, stab, stab, and the same thing happens to the person, right?
Right.
Not quite how that works. You can't just rip its head off and then the person's head comes flying off of their shoulders.
Right. I mean, they do have those voodoo dolls with the pins and stuff, but yeah, you're not going to get the same effect as in Hollywood.
Oh, Hollywood.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like there are similarities between a voodoo doll, whether it's the kind that we bought compared to the ones where you stick the pins in, to a poppet, but poppets are meant solely more for magical work or spiritual work, where a voodoo doll is more to sometimes affect a person depending on the voodoo doll you're using.
Yeah, for the most part. One thing so you mentioned a number of different things obviously used within the craft of poppets. But some other things also include, which, probably is kind of important. You can include part of the person as well, hair, nails, things like that, to help create that link between the poppet and the person associated with it.
Right.
And you can actually create poppets for yourself also, kind of like little good luck charms, and manifest or put intention into it to manifest some sort of health or good luck or charity, towards yourself. I don't know how often people do that in particular. Usually I think it's, create a poppet for somebody. But nonetheless,
Right.
that is,
Right.
yeah.
Well, but again, same thing with voodoo dolls. And it's not too, a lot of times with voodoo dolls, at least in the Hollywood standard, you're not putting hair or nails or something of a personal nature in a voodoo doll to help, more to harm. But when you look back at the voodoo culture and voodoo dolls in particular, it was not meant for black magic, much like a lot of things are. It's not meant for the negative, it's meant for the positive.
Right. And I think that's the biggest misunderstanding when it comes to really anything that we talk about when you think about it, because Hollywood is obviously so vast in its broadcast.
I was gonna say it's been dramatized so much.
It's created falsities about a lot of these different practices, even faiths and religions, etc. Because it's all entertainment. It's all it's for. Hollywood, that is, and for the
right.
Obviously, I think Hollywood could be used for some good, but in most cases they don't. They just do it for fun.
I mean, it at least brings the stuff to the forefront of people's minds. But yeah, there's so much. Like, prime example, like Haunting in Connecticut. We had the opportunity to meet the woman that went through that haunting, and when I had kind of spoken to her, I think you were somewhere else when we were at Scarefest. She's like, yeah, a lot of that was Hollywood. We did not go through as much of the drama that was in that movie as was originally the story.
Which is disappointing for people like us. Watch this. What? That's all a lie.
Well, yeah, us being in the paranormal community, we want to believe that, hey, all of the stuff that's happening in the movies is happening in real life, and in reality, it like prime example, like I don't remember if you remember the scene of when they were in the past and this medium was having ectoplasm come out of his mouth and then came back in. I'm like, that would be awesome, but scary all at the same time. So is that real? I'm guessing probably not, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's spirit photos, ghost photos that we use during medium practices.
Right.
And ectoplasm is one of those things that is, it's not scientifically, I mean, nothing's obviously scientific. Very few things are scientifically proven in this world, in terms of the paranormal and ghosts' existence. But ectoplasm is one of those things that have been studied quite a bit, actually. And despite the fact that there's no hard evidence because you can't simply replicate ectoplasm, there is still evidence of ectoplasm, almost like this. I mean, most people, if you ever felt it, or if you're wondering if you've ever felt it, it's typically walking through like a thick, almost spider webby type thing, invisible thing. You feel it like a spider web on your skin as it brushes past you. That's what most people kind of associate ectoplasm with. There's a good chance actually that you and I even saw ectoplasm and caught it on camera at one point when we were walking through the woods. It was Indigo Lake here in Cleveland.
The fog,
fog thing, and we were talking to what was considered a wraith, what many people thought was a wraith. And we were getting some pretty crazy things on our EVPs, a lot of darkness. But we are snapping photos while we're walking, and all the photos are clear except for one. And there's this really bright green mist just hovering over the ground near us. It was wild. It was weird. Like, of all things, first of all, to show up bright green. And typically you think ectoplasm, green, blue, those are the type of colors I usually think of.
Right.
In the movies. So, but yeah, that was something that was, I mean, maybe it wasn't ectoplasm, but it was interesting nonetheless. And it could have been,
Right.
It also could have just been some, like, I don't know, soil fog from pollution or something. Who knows?
Right. I just wanted to bring up, if you're listening to us or watching us live, Patti is running behind. She will be on shortly. I'm hoping within the next 10 or so minutes she'll be on. So I just wanted to set that reminder. Something that I don't know if I sent you this picture, but I had taken pictures when I was doing Postmaster in Nebraska, and I saw this. It looked like a spider web with my physical eye, but when I took the picture, there was nothing there. So it's one of those things where sometimes you can catch it with a photo, sometimes you catch with your eye. And when you're catching with your eye, kind of like with the stuff we're talking about with haunted dolls and poppets, it's your experience compared to evidence. So something to really consider when you're doing an investigation is, yes, you can include personal experiences, but that is not evidence.
Right. And I mean, and the primary reason for that is because, being humans, we are very subjected to some things.
Right.
Our minds are crazy strong. They're capable of helping us or making us see things that aren't really there. Whether it's that we ourselves think them into existence, or, you have some sort of mental health disorder. Our minds are capable of seeing things that simply aren't real, and trying to discern what is real and what isn't real, especially in this field when they're not capturing it on video, on photos, or via EVP or whatever, or at you. That's why we tend to be careful about using personal experiences as factual evidence, because you really can't prove the personal experience. You could say, look, this is what I learned, this is what I saw, what I felt, what I heard, etc. But in and of itself, that's all it is. It's what you think you saw. And whether or not you really saw it, we can't really say because we can't duplicate it, right? So we can't scientific and test it.
Right. So here's a question for you, and I'm going to ask this before and even after. Right now, would you ever consider creating a puppet, even if it was just you're not putting intention into it, to have as kind of a, I guess, prop? Yeah.
I mean, I would for fun. I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't make one. Obviously, kind of opposes my faith, right? So I would.
I mean, some of the things that you believe now compared to years ago sometimes contradict what a lot of people believe in Christianity, though. Too.
Yeah. I mean, there is that. Yes, that's true. And, you learn things, especially in this field. There's things that don't make sense, or at least I shouldn't say things that don't make sense scripturally. I think everything scripturally makes sense to me, but using, for example, we're talking about ghosts right now. People will say that scripture doesn't prove the existence of ghosts. On the flip side, there are some passages that actually kind of do. And not just kind of, but they actually do prove the existence of ghosts. And the rest is just opinionated, whether or not you believe in them is up to you. Right. But yeah, in terms of your question, of course I would make a puppet for fun. Like, yeah, come on. It's me. I find I'm both curious and fascinated by everything that we discuss, and that people share with us. That's why I'm here in this field, because I'm drawn to it naturally. Right.
So many questions and not enough answers. 100%. Right. I would, but when I read, it's hand sewn with intention, I'm like, I haven't hand sewn since I was in like high school, so I'd have to relearn that to do it.
Yeah, but I don't know if I could hand sew it. I mean, putting intention into something is virtually impossible. I am an overthinker. I have obsessive compulsive disorder. I have intrusive thoughts. So whatever's going into that thing, I mean, that thing's coming out with, a
lot more negative than positive. Is that what you say?
It's something. It's got its own mental disorder. By the time I'm done with it, it's like, oh, why am I here?
Why did you sew me? There's so much.
What is it? One episode of Supernatural with the bear, the stuffed bear that comes to life, and he's depressed and an alcoholic.
Oh yeah.
Like, what is it all for?
I forgot about that episode.
I love that episode.
Oh man. And so in a sense that was that a puppet? I mean, kinda, I guess. Yeah, the bear.
No, because I don't.
Actually, I mean, it could have been, depending on your belief of what a puppet's supposed to be or do.
Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, I know it came to, obviously it came to life, but
right. I mean, in the show, obviously it wasn't. I'm just saying,
right? But I mean, like the kid, because it all manifested because was it the kid or people were making wishes in the wishing well?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Restaurant. And all of the wishes started good, but ended up bad.
Right.
So the kid wished for his bear to live life, which was good, but the bear was basically created with depression and anxiety.
And that was because the trickster who ended up being Archangel Gabriel, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Gabriel that did it.
Yeah. Yeah, good times with Supernatural.
Yeah.
So literally though, that is intention. A wish is an intention.
Sure.
But yeah, he didn't hand sew it. He didn't put all the different parts into it to make it a puppet. He just wanted it to be alive. One thing that I find fascinating about the description that I came up with is that you can use clay or corn husks, which I literally have access to clay all the time. So I could incorporate that into a poppet.
In my mind, I'm like, so you dig into your backyard for clay?
I mean, my dog is. I have a 1 foot freaking hole. I don't remember if I told you that. In my
You
backyard.
didn't tell me that. But it's just funny for those of you who don't know, his wife owns a pottery business. So clearly she has the clay, not his backyard that he.
No, right. I can't just go and dig it myself, unfortunately.
I mean, you could.
I mean,
It's hard to get there.
yeah, I mean, I'd have to go to the river to find it, but that's one of the common questions that Shelly gets is, "Oh, do you just go dig your own clay?" And she's like, "No, I buy powder and rehydrate."
I mean, but she could go get clay and then upsell it as organic.
Well,
People will eat that up. Trust me.
I mean, you're not wrong in there.
To your table.
So, since we got a little bit of time yet, what would you put into your poppet if you were to make one?
Rainbows and butterflies, man. You know,
the rainbows aren't a physical thing that you can put in there. So
that's an opinion.
I mean, unless you buy a prism, and in which case, yeah, you're not wrong there.
There's ways around it. I really have no idea, to be honest. Like, I'd have to sit here and not have to study a few things. I'd probably start with a color theory. So I would probably choose a color that represents a certain emotion or represents something that I want for intention.
Yeah, like for the cloth or
probably. Well, I'd probably do both. So I'd probably definitely do the cloth. That's for sure. That'd be like the clothes it would wear, or if I put clothes on it, or just the fabric itself of the doll.
That's something we're gonna have to ask Patti. Do you put clothes on a poppet?
That's a good question. I don't know. Personally, I feel like you don't. I think the ones I've seen anyway, I know don't. But
right.
But yeah, and then I would also create. Because I would want this thing to represent. For me, I would probably make it to represent me. So I'd probably create a little heart to put in its chest, right? Because that's kind of like the source of life in a way.
Right.
And then outside of that, honestly, I would be focused on a lot of positive ingredients. Anything that generates positive energy and the absorption of negative or the dispersion of negative. As well as items like iron that might help promote some good luck. Yeah, rabbit's foot. I haven't used rabbit's foot in forever, but I remember growing up, used to have them all the time on me. So sad now.
I was gonna say you're wanting to kill a poor innocent rabbit.
No, I would find one that's already been hit by a car and just take
just wham, chop it off.
So messed up.
Yeah,
sorry.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, and going through this book, and trying to really choose what you put into your poppet is a huge responsibility. You've got the intention, that's one thing, but you have to choose things that is going to be prosperous to your intentions, not negatively impacting them.
100%. Like someone like myself, I would probably put some Christian medallions in it, or objects, whether it's a cross or Saint Benedict coin or something.
I was gonna say it was Saint Benedict medallion, yeah. Which I haven't thought about for years. I still have the one that we got, not originally, but when we were kind of coming back to the paranormal. It's in one of my little.
This guy right here that you sent me too. Little.
Oh, yeah, the cross from Sicily. Yeah, I still have that cross. I have the cross from my grandma that's made out of wood, but that's huge. I wouldn't be able to put that in a pop-out unless I made it really big. I've got tons of crystals. I would probably put crystals in mine just because A, I love crystals, and B, most of them are for different intentions too. Which I didn't see anything in the description for crystals and whatever, just herbs and stuff like that. But I'm assuming you can put.
I'd imagine you can put anything you want.
Yeah.
You know.
Again, many questions to ask Patti when she gets on here. What are some of your other thoughts on puppets?
You know, I was one of those who initially, same with the voodoo doll, same with any doll for that matter, had a negative view of them. I didn't quite understand it other than what Hollywood taught us. And of course, growing up when you're a child, Hollywood influences you a lot. At least most of us, it does.
Well, and I do want to point out there is a huge difference between a haunted doll and a puppet. Not that a haunted doll cannot be a puppet in and of itself, but sometimes those kind of get intertwined too.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like pause for a moment. Is there a noise over by you somewhere?
Yeah, I've got wind blowing in the
okay. I hear you whistling, and I'm like, bro, there's something whistling in your microphone.
No, yeah, it's outside, so we're gonna have some whistling on the show. And our guest is here, so we're gonna bring her in.
Hey guys.
Hey Patti, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm good. Been one of those run, but I like them that way, so it's good.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
You know, it's I agree. I like when it's busy. I mean, it's a little faster. You know, you got stuff to do instead of sitting at home.
Yeah.
You know. Well, welcome to ParaTruth. We're so glad to have you on. We just kind of been talking basics on poppets, our own experiences with them, and how we view. Oh, there we go. You guys can see it if you're watching YouTube right now. Yeah. We have quite a few questions for you. I'm gonna just start off right first and foremost. Usually we start off with like, how'd you get into it? And then that's gonna be our second question, because my first question, since you just showed all those, can you put clothing on a poppet?
Sure you can. I mean, if you want to.
Okay.
Because you want a tag lock, something that makes it represent you. So like if you always wear suspenders, I would make something that looks like your little poppet had suspenders on. Like this one, this is the one necklace I always have on. So this is me. I'm not artsy craftsy. You know, it's okay if you're not artsy craftsy and still make a lovely poppet. I make a lot out of paper napkins, because if you want to burn, you know, depending on what you want to do with them. But yeah, if you want to have it closed, or you can make it out of clothes, which is a very common way to do it.
Okay. All right.
Interesting. Now, what first drew you specifically to dolls and poppets as part of your magical practice?
I have always been a doll girl. I think when I was in my mother's womb, I had a large doll collection. Behind me, for those who can see, I've got my haunted and regular dolls. If I turn my camera around, I'm stared at by hundreds of eyes, my mostly Barbie and every other kind of doll. So I've always been a doll collector of regular ones, haunted ones, of everything. And I live in kind of two different worlds. I live in the paranormal world, the ghost adventures, the overnight and all that. And then I live in the magical, witchy, empowering spiritual world. And what's the thing that brings them together is dolls. So on the new book, Dollcraft, I'm like, make it half about haunted dolls and half about poppets. And it was what literally it brought me together as how I am. So I think that's it. I'd like what a poppet is that it's sympathetic magic. It powers me. If I get a headache, I stick a needle in my doll's head and my headache goes away. Easy. Sympathetic magic. What you stuff it with, what you put into it, all those little things. So I think I've just been a doll girl.
So similar to what most people think of as a voodoo doll.
Well, yeah, but voodoo doll is a specific belief system.
Right.
And whatever it is, but it's a doll for magical purpose. Yeah.
Right.
It is certainly not innately negative or anything negative. It's what you make with it. It's not
absolutely.
scary.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you've loved dolls your whole life, but was there a particular doll or experience that really made you say, okay, I need to write Dollcraft. I need to share this experience and tell people how to do this?
I think Belle, my girl Belle in the back in the burgundy dress, because she was a life changer for me. Oops, things are dropping. So I've always been dolls. I've always been kind of public and with what I'm doing. And there's this girl in Belgium who wrote me and she had seen me do a seance with Peggy the doll. It wasn't Ghost Adventures. It was a spin-off of Ghost Adventures. It was called Deadly Possessions when Zach first wanted to show off his collection. And she saw me doing Peggy the doll, who's given 2 people heart attacks and, made documented people sick. And she figured if I could handle Peggy the doll, I could handle Belle. So she wrote me, got my permission. Belle had made her sick for 3 years, made her hair fall out, made her little kids sick, unless you put it, and she wanted it to have a good home. Somebody knew how to do it. I'm like, sure, send it to me. The doll was so powerful. This was years ago now. And I had never even done a Facebook Live before, never thought about it, but something, and it was the doll, said, you have to put this on video, Facebook Live, like an unboxing, which is a thing in itself. And I didn't have that many followers at the time, and I still don't have that many. 50,000 people watched me open that doll. Usually I'd read 300, 400, if now even big, like 1,000 people. It was the doll. And I opened it up, this doll, and this beautiful doll, but so dark. And I'm like, I can't have this in my house. I literally would not let the sun set until I banished the negative. I just knew there was a beautiful little spirit inside the doll. Mm-hmm. But I was, because negative haunted dolls aren't fun. Positive haunted dolls are just as spooky and just as much fun. They walk around, they move things, they wink at you, they do everything you want a haunted doll, but they won't drain your energy, make you sick, or make you beat people up. So I'm like, everybody, they're so popular. We know how popular dolls are, and haunted dolls. More grown-ups, men, women like us, have these crazy doll collections. I'm like, somebody needs to know how to take care of it, because this doll made this woman sick. And I'm sticking the herb rue in her hand to make her not make other people sick. And then this beautiful little spirit came out. I'm like, nobody's really done a guide like this. And again, I didn't want it just about haunted dolls, care and feeding, because a lot of magic is involved. I go, well, other than just how to have a good, positive haunted doll, what if we add the poppets to it so people can have their doll for love or health or money or clarity or focus, or a nice shadow work doll and made out of anything, clay, this, that, paper, cement, dirt, mud, seed paper. So I think it was the Belle being such an influence on me and seeing what it had done to this woman that I just needed to have people an easy guidebook. If they are interested in this, have a real easy how-to.
Okay. Now in the book, you break down different types of poppets, classic, biodegradable, food-based, crafty, etc. Can you walk us through a few of those and why someone might choose any or one over the other?
Yeah. Well, one, it depends on what you're doing with it. If again, depending on the attributes of what you want, if you want to get rid of old stuff and get rid of old negativity, you might want to burn it or bury it. Or maybe you want to plant new seeds and build something. You might want to plant it, which is slightly different than burying it, though same process. Maybe you want to make something and you want to send it out onto a stream, water, emotion, into the river. So for that, you want it to be really biodegradable. Again, there's where the as organic as you can, a little piece of paper that's got biodegradable herbs in it. Maybe you want something for strength to make it strong. Maybe you want to make that out of clay or something strong. Maybe, I think the creativity has to be both a combination of what you're going to do with it, where you want to keep it. If you want it cute and pretty to guard your home, you want to make a home guardian. make a cute little doll that'll sit by your front door and guard your home. You want to make a protection puppet and you want to stick it in a shoebox under your bed for whatever. That's great. But the more thought, the more attributes you put into it, the better it is. But anything can be anything. Does that make sense? I hope.
Yeah.
Going circle.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. No.
You want flexibility, like a string puppet. You want a traditional, a corn dolly, because you want tradition there. Because it's been how they did it in the Appalachian Mountains, how they did it in Old England. If you want a little bit of tradition and clarity and folklore into it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny you say that because in some of the research I saw that you can put clay into it, and my wife's a potter, so I have access to clay, all the time. So jokingly, I said, if I made a puppet, I could put clay into it, and I mean, I'm kind of serious too. Like if I wanted to do a puppet, I at least have that as an abundance to use.
Yeah, that's great, and clay is great because think about what are the attributes to clay. It's moldable, it's strong, and if you want attributes like that into your puppet, it's a perfect thing to use.
Mm-hmm.
I use soil. What did that little note call? If you want to add soil for some grounding into things, you want things to do a little bit of everything.
Okay, cool.
So, I mean, and so kind of spinning off of that, like when somebody actually sits down to create a puppet, what are some key ingredients or correspondence they could be thinking about, and how do they go about finding information maybe that would help them to understand some of the ingredients they could use, like thinking herbs, colors, fabrics, or like tag locks?
All of the above.
Okay.
You could use whatever tradition. Oh, pink is love. Pink is love, like romantic love. Red, oh, that's passion, like romantic, that kind of passion. Blue can be healing. Green or gold can be money. So both what the traditional colors mean, whether you're doing candle work, but more importantly is kind of what it means to you. What it means if purple means money to you and you want a money puppet, I would make it out of purple. Or, funny old money sewn together, Monopoly money shredded up or something. I do like to add a lot of because it's really easy in this day and age to look up what attribute. Oh, cinnamon, it's going to bring some fire into it. Good for passion, good for protection. Ooh, rosemary is very protective, or basil. And I'm just talking simple stuff you find in your kitchen, let alone at any apothecary. Adding some dirt, adding some soil. If you work in graveyard dirt is beautiful. Be very careful. Again, it's sacred ground. And if it freaks you out, don't do it. But I always give offerings when I go to grave. Say if I'm going to make a protection puppet, I'm going to go to the grave of maybe a decorated soldier or a police person who did all these great works. Ask their permission of the dead. I could just have a spoon, leave them gifts, put that into my puppet. If it's a love puppet, find the couple that was happily married 50 years. Ask them if you get a little bit of their dirt for that grounding. Because your puppet really has, in a sense, 3 bodies you want to create. It's got its physical body, which is the material doll itself, and make it out of anything. It has the astral body, which is literally the energetic form that you're awakening into it. And then the symbolic body, which is its identity, its purpose. You are for healing. You are for shadow work. You are for money. You are for road opener. So if you could combine all those things, the more you have, it's going to be that much stronger, honoring all those 3 of the bodies, literally the physical, the astral, and the symbolic.
Awesome.
Yeah. So again, it's been used forever, you guys. Egypt, ancient Egypt, Greece and Rome, Celtic, Appalachian tradition, Japanese dolls, do it. If you do want to do, like, why would I make it out of it? Cloth puppets are really good if you're doing some for emotional it's long lasting. You want something long lasting, something soft is really good. Maybe you want to use wax because it's transformable. You can move it around. It's excellent for breaking habits, or you want to melt away negativity. You might want to end up melting the puppet. Maybe you want clay for grounding. You want something really grounding because clay is grounding. That's an attribute. It's stable. It's ideal for protection or long-term work that you're doing. Maybe you want something really traditional. Make it out of corn husk. Do it from corn house. Maybe you want to make it out of pure paper again, because you want something quick. You want something potent. You want great for urgent spells. Go again. I want to burn this, bury this, put it into the water safely. Sticker root poppets. You want something really natural. And again, there's not a right or wrong, but what's right or wrong to you is what's right or what feels best. Maybe you want something strong for bones and you want to put some eggshells into it. We just talked about that in the class. I just finished like 5 minutes ago. So herbs are going to give you the attributes of those herbs, crystals and stones, because they're all living things, living spirits. Oils, you want some scent. You want to use, actually, it's nice to use all your senses. Sight, you want to look like what you want it to do. Sound, maybe it's soft. You put a little bell in it. You feel it when it sits down. It's heavy. It's light. Smell, you're going to get that from the herbs or oils you use. Touch, how it feels soft. I'm going to take a nice eye pillow poppet, which we just talked about in class as well. A nice soft satiny with a lot of chamomile and lavender in it. Just the more creative you can be is good. Also, you want things, again, if you want to keep layering it on, there's kind of a triad you want to use. You want something to stabilize it. You want something to the transformer, and you want the messenger. Stabilizer would be the salt you're putting into it, or the soil, like I just talked about, or some iron, or the stones you put into it. The transformer, it'd be the herbs, the crystals that are aligned with the goal that you're creating. The messenger is the tag lock, the signature, the handwriting. And again, tag locks are really important because that's personal. Tag locks are what people get freaked out about it, because that's some of your hair, that's some of your fingernail clippings, but that literally has your DNA. That's tag locking it to you. If you don't have that stuff, your signature, your breath literally is your life force. It's your pneuma. It's your prana. The moisture in your breath is your free will. You're tag locking it, just putting your words and your breath into it. So again, if you could have the messenger is that tag lock, this is where its messenger is going to. So as simple or as many layers as you want. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the tag locks really are the energy bridge to what you're doing. Right. So if you're making a tag lock for a healing for grandma on the other side, and you could have a little piece of her old, house coat that she used to wear that she was giving to Goodwill, that would be great.
Okay. Now, for beginners, if someone is curious about Poppet Magic but nervous about quote unquote opening doors, what's a simple, safe practice they can try?
You're only going to open the doors that you ask for. And again, that's why I don't do negative puppets. I don't want to send anybody evil or curses or hexes, not because good or bad, heaven or hell. It's because you live in the world you create. So you want to try I'm going to make a health and happiness or a love puppet for myself, or I get a new career puppet for myself. It's all in your attention. Do it with love. Do it with light. Work within your belief system. If you're nature-based, you work with calling the tree spirits, and you work with angels, work with your angels. You work with fairies, work with your fairies. You have Christian, work with Jesus. Work within your belief system. Jesus loves a puppet. I'm sorry. They may not tell you that in church, but Christ put a little cross on it. That's your belief system, a Star of David, an Ankh. It only be as powerful as you make it. And again, you don't put negative. If you need to bind, you can bind them. I'm a clear binder. You want to tie up those arms of somebody who's trying to harm you or your family. You don't want to send them evil, but you cannot hurt me. You cannot hurt my family, my job, my career, my pets. But you're not sending them negative stuff. So there's no negative kickback to it. You're not going to open up any doors. Not like you're sitting around a Ouija board, which again, I think is completely safe depending on what you say. Right. And you set your intention in the beginning. I set up sacred space, whatever it is, whether that means to you, say a little prayer, light a little candle, light some incense, say a chant. You call the corners air, fire, water, and earth, do an LBRP, work within your belief system.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to a little bit, because I know our time is short overall, but talking about haunted dolls. from your perspective, or actually, different question. A lot of people are genuinely scared of haunted dolls. Can you tell us some like common misconceptions that you'd love to clear up about haunted dolls that maybe would help people not be so scared, or whether they should be scared?
Well, again, if you go visit Annabelle too often, or Peggy, the doll that I did the seance with, she belongs to Zach Bagans now. He doesn't want any spirits removed or anything like that. Heavens. But she literally curses at me when I walk in. She's got a spirit box there. And you walk in, everybody at the work. Hi, Peggy. You look so beautiful today. It's like, screw you. Okay, bye-bye. And not too long ago, on this last tour of Annabelle, I was almost touring with her because all these conventions I was doing. And this one, the only thing that divided the vendor floor where I had my books and the Warren Complete Occult Museum, including Annabelle, was a curtain, was a thin little convention. The energy was bombarding me. I'm like, nobody's even going to come talk to me because it feels so icky over here. But I put up warding, I put up protection, and I put up so much protection. I didn't feel it. It was like a cement wall of energy. Remember, you don't need a cement wall. You have energy to do it. So people were fine. I put up so much protection. I was able to later that night when they opened those curtains up, I was dancing with Annabelle safely. On her tour, she travels with a priest. And last time, again, sometimes I'm affected by her more than others. But again, before you go in, set a protection. Nothing can bother me. You cannot bother me. Afterward, I hadn't set up my protection, so it was so cute. Father Bob, he knows I'm a witch. He knows I'm a pagan. I'm like, and everybody was doing blessings afterwards. I'm like, I would love a blessing from you, Father Bob. He's like, almost apologetically, it's so cute. He goes, it's going to be a Catholic blessing. Is that okay? I'm like, I would want nothing else from you. I want, yeah,
whatever you're coming from. Yeah,
that's what I want. But again, you should be cautious. I don't like the word afraid. Fear is the word that takes away your power. But fear, change your idea. Fear is inspiration and challenge and all that. But if you're going to go see, I don't think anybody should have a negative haunted doll in their home. I don't think you should most of the time keep your haunted dolls, even the good ones, in your bedroom when you go to sleep. Put them in any other room of the house because it is a real spirit. It is a real spirit. That's why a negative haunted doll can make you sick, can drain your energy, can cause arguing and fighting and illness and not stuff. Again, that's why I made the book. A positive haunted doll, to make sure you find one, buy one. Now, number one, I didn't want people getting ripped off by the fake sellers on eBay. Not saying they're all fake by any means. There's real sellers. But if one seller had 912, these beautifully long crafted stories about the doll, be careful. Read the reviews. But I think you could find as good of ones or better in your local thrift store. So I just wanted it, if everybody wants to have one, you want to have a positive one that doesn't make you sick or drain your energy or make you sleepy or make you fight with people. And again, they're still just as spooky. Nobody's upstairs, but somebody's walking upstairs and it sounds like it's Belle or it's whoever, it's Salem, it's all my different dolls. Tell by your animals and little children, because nobody knows. When Belle was first here, my animals would have nothing to do with her. Even when I first banished the negative, because there's residual energy. It has to go away. Like, say you book yummy chocolate chip cookies, but somebody ate them all. The cookies still smell for a while. You stepped in dog poop. Your shoes are clean, but it still smells for a while. Look at small children. My dog and cat avoided, and then all of a sudden they love her. They like to live by her. So check stuff like that. How do you feel? Are you avoiding that area? I had one. I will not have a negative haunted doll. All of a sudden, I love my little office. All my dolls looking at me, all my books. All of a sudden, I noticed I was not spending any time in my office. I would take my laptop outside. I'm like, what is it? And I look around and I had this little doll. She looked kind of like a voodoo doll, but she was a statue. And it was a gift from one of my friends, like one of my rock star friends. And I'm like, oh, it's you. You've gone bad. You've taken on a spirit that wasn't here. So me being me, I didn't want to banish it. I just called Zach Bagans. I went, hey, Zach, this is too dark for my house. Do you want it? I'm going to Vegas tomorrow. It started acting up that night, but it's in the perfect place, not where somebody lives or raises a family or has roommates, goes to sleep at night where you're vulnerable. It's in a perfect place in this museum. But so that's why I decided to make the book, because you do have to be careful of haunted dolls. Again, if you walk into somebody's house and they have a negative haunted doll and you don't want it and they don't have it behind salt or with a glass case or all those crazy things we do. Again, say, you cannot bother me. Speak it out loud whenever possible. You say it in your head, things can still hear. But when you say it out loud, again, your breath is involved, your life force. And then when you leave, go, you stay here, I leave. Just like when you're on a paranormal investigation. Just your intent is everything. And, in the name of whatever you believe in the name of God, in the name of your cat, in the name of your, designer handbag, doesn't matter. Your intent, your purpose.
Right. Now, that's interesting that you bring that up. Erik had found a mask that he really was sure it was haunted. And it can be anything. So how do you personally protect yourself when working with haunted objects, from start to finish? What's your spiritual hygiene?
My spiritual hygiene is, again, work within your belief system. But my spiritual hygiene, and I work within every belief system, is my favorite sigil or symbol is the Helm of Awe. It's an 8-sided cross. You're thinking, I'm little stickers. You won't be able to see it. Anybody, I know most of you are not visual. It's an 8-sided cross, and it's got the little half circles and 3 lines. This is like sacred geometry. I wear medallions of it. I literally have this under my welcome mat. It keeps out bad spirits and burglars. To me, it's like an atomic bomb that breaks up negative energy. And so this is what I would put this under a doll, whatever that needs. It's super protection. It, to me, is, for me personally, my best protection out there. But cascarilla powder, salt, sigil symbols of every kind. There's lots of herbs. Again, rue is going to pull away negativity.
Okay. And for folks who feel called to go deeper into this episode in particular and what you're sharing with us, what's the best way to work through Dollcraft? Is it simply going straight through it? Is it maybe taking a little bit at a time, doing separate chapters and chunks?
I would say if people, just like in all my magic, is work how you work. If you're just like, I'm going to use it as a reference, what do I need to know today? Do that, like the bibliomancy, whatever you call it. It's like, oh no, I need a specific poppet, so I'm going to look at the different kind of poppets. I mean, I'm a reader, so I would say read the whole thing and then see where you're drawn if you don't know what you want. But if you're sitting here going, I want a haunted doll now, read that section first. I want to know how to buy it, purchase it, call one in. You can call in a spirit to do it. People makes it so much mystery. And then, or how to have a haunted doll tea party. Some people might want to completely skip that chapter, but a lot of people don't. I was supposed to do one last week, a haunted doll tea party at the Lizzie Borden house, but we got snowed out or wet. That would have been fun.
I think that's the biggest thing is so many people have been freaked out by Hollywood, the dramatization of haunted dolls. Not that they cannot be scary, because sometimes just regular dolls can be scary. But not all dolls are necessarily having a negative entity attached to them.
Most aren't. Most aren't. Most ghosts are good. I mean, TV, I'm sorry, media, and I'm part of it, makes it look bad. You go to the insane asylum, you go to the prison, the boys' school, and you don't go to the fun hotel where the ghosts are hanging from the best days, the chandeliers, best days of their life. So, because that's what you want. You want the spooky and dark stuff. You don't make movies about the good haunted dolls, but most ghosts are good. Like most people, you go to a ball game, go to a mall, most people are good. You might find a rare serial killer or a bad person, but most people are good. Most spirits are good. And if you're a disembodied spirit and you decide you want a vessel, you don't need a vessel, but if you decide you want a vessel, you can go to a jar of water, or you can go to something with eyes, and a doll with eyes and nose and a mouth. So you can go to a doll. But most of those are good. Most of them are good. They really.
Right. Well, we are getting close to the end. So I do want to ask, where can people find Dollcraft, connect with you, find your other works, your podcast? The mic's all yours.
Right. My book, Old World Magic, PattiNegri.com, PattiNegri. You can get everything. You can get to Dollcraft. Dollcraft it's Llewellyn, so it's available everywhere. Metaphysical stores, regular bookstores, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, everywhere. Dollcraft, or on my website, you can get signed copies. My other book, Old World Magic for the Modern World, which is still my baby, my passion book. How to bring magic into every part of your life. It's even smaller. It's an easy, fast read. Like, why do you put salt in your toilet? What? Why do you stir your coffee this way? It's still my passion book. But you can get You can get to my podcast, The Witching Hour. You can get to my schedule of all the places I travel everywhere constantly. You can get to tons of free videos on my YouTube. You can find my school where I teach this stuff. Just tonight, I taught a complete Poppet class, an hour and a half Poppet class. I teach haunted doll classes. I teach spellcraft. I see mediumship development, and for $20 a class or less. When I saw celebrity mediums charging thousands of dollars, I went, I want to be affordable. Right. You can get to my podcast. You can get to Paraflix, my network, everywhere. PattiNegri.com. Follow me on social media, please. Patti Negri, Psychic Medium on Facebook, Patti.Negri on Instagram, Patti Negri everywhere else. That just helps because it's our world. And that's it. Or see me right here with you guys. Oh.
Well, thank you so much for being on. I know we had to bring you on late today, so we'll definitely have to get you on to talk more about Dollcraft and the other book as well. But until then, we will let you go. And thank you so much for being on ParaTruth Reborn.
Thank you. Thank you for the good work you guys are doing. That means a lot. This is great. I love your show. I love what you do. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, folks. That is Patti Negri. So if you're looking to find her book, make sure that you check her out. A lot of great stuff going on here at ParaTruth. Erik, do you have any final thoughts before we head out?
No final thoughts, no housekeeping. We're really close to Christmas, so that special Christmas episode is coming up in 2 weeks, so look forward to that. Otherwise, just have a good week.
All right, folks, until next week, where you'll find us same time, same channel. My name is Justin.
And I'm Erik. Peace.